Up next on the Day Beer Review, we're going to be looking at Murphy's Imported Stout. This is a draft style stout coming in at 4% ABV. Check it out. Hi everybody, it's Rich and welcome to the Day Beer Review. And today we are looking at Murphy's Imported Stout. This is draft style. Now it says here that Murphy's was established in 1856. Murphy's Stout has been brewed to the same unique recipe since 1856. We pride ourselves in using only the top ingredients of pale malt, chocolate malt, roast barley, and hops. Murphy's offers you that uniquely smooth, creamy, and wonderfully palatable full-bellied stout flavor with roast chocolate and coffee undertones and a biscuity sweet malt aroma. And it actually has essentially a Guinness glass on the back of it and not a stout glass. So luckily I do have the trusty Guinness glass here. Let me just give it a wipe down, although you know you can wash these things constantly and you still wind up with something that shows up on camera. All right. So I'm thinking this should be sort of like a Guinness, and honestly the pictures on the back of the can lend me to believe that even the pouring aspect of this is very similar to a Guinness. Now where is this? Murphy's a can, unchilled cans may overflow. All right, whatever that is. Okay, so I guess we're good to go on this. I wanted to find the brewery, but I guess it's just Murphy's Brewery. All right, let's give it a try. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I have heard the widget go, so I'm assuming this is going to be a nitrogen beer. And if I follow the directions, I will pour half of it at about a 45-degree angle. It's more than half. And then I will tip it here. And you know, I have to say, I am always a fan of the nitrogen beers. I do like the creaminess of the beer to begin with. I also do get a kick out of seeing it settle, and I realize that you know the beer itself. Let's see, what does this say? All right, so once it has calmed its flowing, I can put it back here. Now these are imperial pint glasses, so you know I should be able to get full beer into this regardless, and I did. Although you can sort of see the striations in where the beer got poured, and it is still coming down. So we'll give it another minute or two to settle. So where is, let's see, what does it say here? 21 only, enjoy responsibly. This is probably all gonna get cut out. All right. Now I have to say, it looks remarkably like a Guinness. And quite frankly, since it hasn't settled fully, it looks like a Guinness that has not been poured correctly. Now, I have not, when I went to Ireland, I did not have a chance to try a Murphy's. I'm assuming that this is that this is actually, let me see, I can't tell. It's gonna be all over the place, this video. I apologize, folks. All right, but it does seem to have a very similar pour to a Guinness. Fits in the glass, almost looks like a Guinness. Let's see what it tastes like. Okay, so this is gonna sound a little weird, maybe even a little obnoxious in some respects. This tastes like a Guinness, but like a Guinness you would get at the Guinness factory. It has all of the coffee notes, it has all of the roastiness there, has a little bit of the chocolate. But what I find, at least in the Guinness that I get in New York, is that most of those flavors that are really so bold when you get them, you know, in Dublin, sort of fade back. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just that it tastes better because, you know, of the environment you're in, or if it legitimately just tastes better there or not. But I will tell you this reminds me very much of the first Guinness that I had at the Guinness factory. So more of that roastiness, more of that coffee, more of that chocolate. This is incredibly drinkable, smooth, goes down beautifully. Quite frankly, it's an outstanding beer. Now, I like Guinness a lot. I love the fact that it's 4% ABV, so you can have more than one at a meal, and you're not going to be overwhelming yourself with alcohol because, you know, you have to be responsible when you drink. But what how do I put it? So, you know, I love that it's 4%, but even though it is 4% alcohol, which, by the way, I believe that's less than a Bud Light is. So, you know, like for all those people who are like, I'm drinking this because it's less alcohol, like a Guinness is pretty low alcohol. I think it's 4.2 and the Murphy's is 4. So, you know, if you really want to start, you know, like saving the calories, start drinking the stouts. And, you know, particularly I would go now with Murphy's more often than not. Now, when I bought this, I think it was $1.99 for the can. So relatively inexpensive, very accessible. It's everywhere in New York. I've seen it all over the place. Would I get it again? Yeah, definitely. This is a good everyday drinking stout. If you know somebody who you think would like stouts but hasn't really gotten into them, this is another one of those that I would put under the heading of like a good starter stout. In other words, a stout that, you know, wouldn't be overwhelming. Like some of the stouts, the ABV is so high and there's such a burn to them that I could see why they would turn off people who are not really used to that. This is going to be smooth, approachable, easy to drink, and I would definitely recommend Murphy's Stout as excuse me. I would definitely recommend Murphy's Stout as sort of like an everyday go-to beer. It's not going to be super ABV. Calorie-wise, because it is an import, it does have the calories on here. And for this serving per container is, so for a 14.9 ounce can, it's 125 calories. That's actually less than a 12 ounce can of Coke. So, you know, because I think a 12 ounce can of Coke is 150 calories. So, you know, this is actually a really decent way of having a beer, but not having a beer that's going to be overwhelming, and having a beer that if you want to have more than one of those beers, you're also not going to be sort of crushing the alcohol or the calories as you go through it. So would I buy Murphy's imported draft style stout again? In a second. In fact, I think it's going to become one of my regulars here at the bar. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed the review. Again, this is Murphy's Imported Stout. This is coming in at 4% ABV, and definitely one of those beers that I would recommend if you're looking for an Etrury style stout, an easy to drink, low ABV, you know, stout when you're looking for something to drink with your meal. So Murphy's is definitely one that I would check out, and it is readily available just about everywhere I go. So anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed the review. See you next time on End of the Day Beer Review. Cheers.